Well,
of.
let's do Nobody first because
We
you don't
both
want
liked
to.
that. We both liked it. It's great.
Yeah. Oh my God, what a movie! I was just impressed. The guy, I know you said he was from Better Call Saul
Better,
or something like that.
yep. Better Call Saul, and oh, I don't like that. I'll go back to the other way. Better Call Saul. I believe. I don't know. I never watched all of Breaking Bad, so yeah. Anyway, he's
No,
from
I
that
haven't
sort
either.
of universe of things. He's done some other minor things. This was a really big step for him. He
Wow.
co-produced it. Russian director, Russian writer. So nobody basically sets up a everyday guy, just like me and Rob, going to work every day. Literally, the rut is placed perfectly in scene after scene of his routine, and then suddenly there's a home invasion that goes what you think is going to go awry, and he shows a restraint that leads to his son getting punched and all this, and
Yeah.
people kind of mocking him for his lack of masculinity. Then he gets enraged later on when you start to discover that they took not just some money, but also something that was important to his daughter. And it becomes a situation where he's trying to get all that back, but also ends up in a fight scene. He doesn't actually mean to kill the person, right? They die after the fact.
That
So
after he tried to save them with
the
with
pen and the
the
neck trick, right? Hollywood
yeah,
loves that kind of stuff.
yeah.
And anyway, so it turns out to be Russian mob, and he ends up in this big mess where they won't let this go, and it becomes basically a John Wick type film, but with so much more heart and character for me. So uh, let's start at the beginning. How did you? Didn't you? What do you think of this setup? The fast editing, building his rut, his family routine, just this
Yeah.
really a beaten down,
I know you
sad
felt bad
man.
for him. Yeah, you felt bad for him. And then, well, the very first scene is him sitting there in the police station.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It opens and closes with the same shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're like wondering like what is going on here. And then it cuts to the monotony of his everyday life. And just day after day. And the one point I got to the thing, I'm like, why doesn't she just remind him about the trash the night before?
Put it out the night before. Oh, yeah, I know. But I don't know about you. And again, I don't know that I feel this way regularly. But you're going to go through sort of seasons and bouts of your job and your life routine, and you just kind of feel like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wake up and you look at the calendar and you're like, holy cow, it's the 25th. January's almost gone. Like you start to realize that that rut is eating up so much of your time in your life, and they capture all of that
Completely
brilliantly,
relatable. Completely
completely right.
relatable.
Then you get to obviously the conflict, and you start to get little tiny hints, right? He like knew details about the intruders. He knew about the revolver, and then you get to this scene where he's trying to track down this clue that he has, this tattoo, and they
Yes.
they they pick up on a little tattoo he has on his arm,
The old vet does, yeah.
on his wrist, I guess, right? And I
Yeah.
double checked that tattoo because I wanted to find out, and they just had to do with, I guess, the playing cards are like the worst cards you can get if you play poker. Like I guess basically it's like you fold immediately with that kind of combination or something. So again,
Right,
it's the last hope, no win person, and
right.
obviously there's allusions to the military and all that. That scene. Here's the thing: this movie is so much more show than tell. I'm sick of Disney Plus and some of these shows where all they do is talk, 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 talk. They don't realize they're in a dramatic or action piece, let alone a superhero film. Nobody is all about showing you things and letting you just pick up on little nuances and little tricks rather than have to have some sort of spiel. They could easily have had some spiel or flashback sequence or some sort of nonsense, but this
Sure.
was this
But it would have
was
ruined
so
it.
much this was so much more effective.
Yeah, absolutely. And just right down to the when he's on the bus, he's walking by that girl. He's like, she's gonna make it home safe tonight.
Hmm.
And in his mind, that's what his focus was. You know,
Yep.
uh, it was just start to finish. I can't find one thing other than the annoying singing with the Russian guy. Um,
But I think that
I
was by
cannot.
design a little bit, right? Because it's just showing he cannot sing, but he's so powerful and rich, they even let him get in front of
Right,
people. Like nobody's going to say anything to that guy.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just start to finish, just one thing after another. It was just. I don't think I found one moment in the entire movie that I wasn't paying attention to it. And like I told you, I even had to go back and rewatch it because I know I missed stuff because it was just some things went so quickly. And I think one of my favorite spots was when he was leaving after he burned the house and he's looking over at that his neighbor's
Hmm.
car, and he's like, yeah, okay, you can see the wide roll. Okay, I'm gonna take that car tonight, because I
Yeah.
can, just because
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
So,
Christopher Lloyd plays the dad. It has a couple of great scenes that set up the end. And what was interesting, and I didn't catch this, dad has a tattoo too. Did you catch the dad? The dad has the
I
tattoo.
did not, but I'll have to look at that next time we watch it because
Yeah.
Dylan wants to watch it. So yeah, absolutely.
The film is violent and some cursing, but it's not. There's no nudity. There's nothing graphic. It's never profane or gross or anything like that. It's if your kids have watched John Wick, even though it's rated
Of
R,
course.
it's
Yeah.
it's sort of like a less intense version of that, but almost like a more realistic version. And he is so beat up and battered regularly. It just is so believable. It's literally what you're going to hear me complain about when I get to Hawkeye. You're going to hear what we complain about. All these movies and shows, they don't have an ounce of effort to try to make things believable. We're in a superhero. We're in a fictitious movie. That's not what I mean. I mean, it's like when you watch Die Hard, you can believe that John McClane is getting beat up and battered because if he didn't have scratches and stuff on it, it would just be absurd. You couldn't
Sure.
relate to the film. This movie was so, as you said, it was so perfectly relatable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the surprise on the wife's face when he pops open. He puts him in the basement. He pops open the
Oh, the safe
keypad.
house, yeah, he opens the
Yeah, and
door.
she had no idea. No idea. So it was just
And there's a quick shot.
he,
There's a quick shot, right, of them holding hands. Like it's like I'm
yeah,
here for you. You're here for me. I got you. They
right.
cover the little girl's face, and then of course, and again, if this was a big budget film, let's say Disney or Marvel or whatever, you both know there'd be some sort of, conversation with the son. There'd be some sort of like, we're going to overtell his backstory, whatever. We're just going to keep having
Oh,
conversations because that's how we have relationships. Whereas this one, it's like, there's no time for that right now. I got to figure out how to save my family. And then later on, you just know he's taking care of business. And it was just, I love the fact that we didn't have to have everything spoon fed. This was literally the most underrated film of last year, in my opinion. This was so good.
yeah. And I honestly, I mean, Dylan had mentioned it, but I really didn't give it a second thought till you and I were talking about it. And you gave me a little bit more info on it. I was like, oh, okay. But like going back to the conversations with the son, even his military career, he completely downplayed because the son needed to do a report with a
Yeah,
veteran.
right,
And he's like, oh no, I was just an auditor. I was a nobody. We didn't do
right,
anything.
right.
You
But in
know,
his world, what that really meant was
yeah,
like,
exactly.
he
It
is
was
the
the
last
exact
guy you want to
opposite.
see. That was
Right.
such a
Like
great line.
he would have millions of stories, but I can't tell you any of them.
Yeah,
You know, go see your grandfather, go see your uncle.
yeah,
So, and just even like the uncle coming up to him with the gun in their workplace, saying, here, take care of my sister. You know, I don't know. It was just a phenomenal movie. I can't. I don't have anything bad to say about it. Christopher Lloyd touching on that. Perfect dad.
it was so good. And by the way, that gun ends up in the fridge, which he
Right.
uses at the end
Exactly.
scene. It sets up stuff. They didn't really leave a whole lot. Now there was a couple of shots of them making different weapons. I don't remember them being used, or they went through so fast. So I think it's like,
Yeah, they were. He made some into rifles. He put some steel,
yeah,
corrugated
there's
steel
like
into
steel
it. And
rebars in them. I think
yeah,
but I
yeah.
think he used like nails to make like a nail bomb, but I don't think I saw the nail bomb go off. But anyway,
He
there's a
used
few things like that, but it was really, really good.
he used that one in the all the money was at, and
Okay,
they were in the hallway. He rolled it
okay,
down the hall.
got
Yeah.
it.
So,
So we both give Nobody a must see if you're into any of that sort of action shoot 'em up
absolutely.
stuff. This movie was so underrated. Great film. I heard a few people praising it on the list of short things last year that were really, really good. I just didn't get a chance to see it in the theater. It finally dropped somewhere where I could watch it. I called you, I texted you right away. It says, you're not going to believe this movie. I like you. I didn't want to put it down. It was so much fun. And there very distant thoughts of a sequel, those kinds of things. We'll see. I doubt Hollywood has.
I would be down for it. It's a big shoe to fill to come up with a sequel.
I agree, but I think it's the John Wick people. Like, I think these are like,
yeah.
These are the people that are connected to like that universe. Now they're not the same studio, so it's not going to be an overlap or anything like that. But it's not.
Right.
These are not people that are like sort of like haphazardly taking follow-up films lightly. So I would say if there's any chance, they'd probably do okay.
There was a great attention to detail.
Yes.
In the movie, I mean, just even like someone who is familiar with guns, familiar with things like that. Just the detail, was just definitely not a Disney movie.
I wanted to see Jake. I can't wait for Jake to see it. He had never asked me if he had seen it or not. I'd love to see what Jake had to say about some of that. Because one of the things, so when I wrote my book, one of the things I went to him and I was like getting different names and different weapons because I want to try to find something kind of exotic. So a lot of those things are real guns or real weaponry and things that, I ran through somebody who really was into it. And I feel like the filmmakers were down that rabbit hole as well and really just did a great job. So
hey, it's Pops. I'm out here with the Pop Culture Princess.
Pop Culture Princess.
That's right. We're getting ready to enjoy Fathom Events Shark Week. That's right. Shark Week kicks off this weekend, July 23rd on Discovery Channel. You don't want to miss it.
Great show. Sharks eating stuff.
She loves it. Can it Pop Culture Princess giving the Shark Week 2 thumbs way up.